So, we're back again with the final episode of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. In the last episode, I took down Girahim, and his revelation as Demise's weapon has been extraordinarily informative. And Zelda is now saved and in the clutches of Groose instead. Good thing, right? Alright, in this episode will be the finale. However, before we go into the Transcending Darkness, which is the place that Demise prepared for us without distractions for the final battle, a few things I want to point out that, if you're not good at this battle, what I would suggest doing, like I did in last episode, is get some potion, at least Heart Potion Plus, maybe not this one plus, but just a regular one. And what I would also recommend doing is saving before this battle, because in the event that don't have hearts, or that many at least, and you go straight into the fight, and you die, and you restart your file, and you begin with the same amount of hearts that you went in with, which I assume wasn't a lot, considering that you made that mistake, which I can't blame you for. People don't really know exactly what's going on in their first playthrough, but definitely do that, and it's going to be worth it. However, though, I want to just show some extra dialogue in the Sealed Temple before we head off to the final fight. One more thing, though, is that, Dark Demonic Volcano. I don't think that marks Elden Volcano, because it is just a mountain in the distance. Alright, I'll point that out. But the lack of music just fills the room, even though we're outside. But anyway, with that, I will just grab a couple hearts, even though I'm completely filled on health, but mainly just show some dialogue and a couple of other things. Alright, if we go in here, Impa will be standing up again, and so will Groose, too. Just wanted to show both sides of this area, and go into the present time and speak to the old one final time before the battle, and show one more thing in there, too. However, though, check up on our folks. Do not panic. Zelda is fine. She rests in the back room of the temple. I never expected Demise would rise again. It seems now that the fate of the world rests solely in your hands, LSP. She believes in us. Good thing. Whew, that was way too close back there. I got a serious sweat going. Can you imagine what would have happened if I hadn't pulled off one of my famous Groose maneuvers to catch Zelda? I'll stay here and make sure she's protected, so don't worry about her one bit. Just get out there and clobber that Demise creep. I'm counting on you, LSP. We all are. I want to hug Groose so bad, because I just recall when he wasn't that soft of a person and he didn't grow on us, but he did. He literally grew on us like a fruit on a tree. No pun intended, because there is a tree in the present time. I'll go check up on the old one and see what's up. Yeah, just want to say some just final farewells, even though I don't see myself dying, but still, may as well just check up on our folks, and yeah. No, Demise has already been resurrected. If we do not stop him, this world is doomed. I have no other words for you, LSP. Know that you are the sole hope for the survival of this land. The danger is overwhelming, but you must persevere. You must save our world. I will. Everything's gonna be fine. However, one funny thing is that if you go into this area with the tree, you can just sit down and recover hearts if you haven't, and this is what you get. Just straight up ... and you can just look at the amazing and beautiful tree. That's all you get, though. However, that's all I wanted to show for this part, so with that, there's nothing else to show. Let's get down to business. Yeah, it feels strange to be here, but we have made it. Everything is complete, and we have no other choice but to go forth. Let's see what happens.
Master, LSP, I have important information for you. Once you enter this portal, my analysis indicates a 0% chance that you will be able to return, unless you are able to vanquish your foe. Are you ready to proceed?
Hell yeah, baby, let's keep on going.
Understood, Master, LSP. Know that even in the place that lies beyond this portal, I will be with you. And Master, good luck.
So you've decided to meet your end in battle after all. It pleases me greatly to see such misplaced valor, human. Take a moment to appreciate your surroundings, for where we stand shall serve as your tomb for eternity. The hate for the gods that has boiled in my veins. You will taste all of it in the bite of my blade. The only question left is how long you will manage to remain standing before I take your life. Try to keep it interesting for me, would you? And when you do fall, know that your world and everything in it is mine to dominate, mine to subjugate, mine to rule. When I finish with you, you can take solace in knowing your friends and kin will soon follow, as I wipe all who oppose me from the face of this world. It won't be long now. At last, the almighty power I've sought for millennia. I will take the Triforce for my own. And the world shall be under my foot for eternity. Demise ain't playing, and he got big belly abs that are pretty attractive. Alright, so, in this first phase, it will be mostly blocking, so I would definitely recommend the Hylian Shield because it takes no damage. So, get a good vantage point on Demise if you can, and when it comes time for him to thrash like that, actually, my hack is to not look at him, but rather listen to him when he goes like, "Ruh," you know? When he does that, just go ahead and shield bash and get a couple extra hits, and if you do get hit, it's okay, because you do have potion, as I've already mentioned, if you went back for it. Yeah, he'll do like little maneuvers like that to try to scare you, but, you know, it's actually not too bad. I do see myself getting hit at some point. I don't know when, but yeah, like that. Sorry, my apologies, but keep on going and get a good hit on him if you can. Uh-huh. And if you're able to get a vertical slice like this, or a spin attack, even greater, because that will bring him to his knees and you can get a few more hits on him, and that'll be a good advantage for you. So, he got a good sucker punch in. And look at those claws, man, like, holy crap. Alright, Alright, bring it on. Uh-huh. Ouch. Alright, keep on going. Alright. Alright, so the next phase will be a little tougher. Don't get me wrong. So, it will start lightning outside, and the idea for this phase is to, if he gets his lightning first on his sword, try to work your way in it, and try to get your sword lit up like this, and it only happens when you, as a matter of fact, when it's lightning outside. However, in the actual nice freeze frame, I also want to point out something about Fi when she analyzes Demise for you.
Target lock. Demise.
This eternal being has conquered time itself. It is the source of all monsters. According to tales passed down through generations, it appears differently in each epoch, and if I'm pronouncing that right, and to each person who lays eyes on it. Tell me more. It is clear that Skyward Strikes cannot be called down to your sword because this places under the magical influence of Demise. Attacks using Skyward Strike energy will not be possible here. Tell me more. I can confirm it is possible for Demise to store the electricity of a lightning strike in his sword and use it to his advantage. Master, should your sword come into contact with Demise's sword once it is electrified, you will receive a painful shock. It is essential that you time your attacks carefully, very carefully. Tell me more? This is all the information I have at the present time. When I have more information to report to Master, your sword will flash. You can always press down to call on me. Furthermore, when you require information about your equipment or your surroundings, please select analysis. Alright, ow. Perfect timing, Demise. However, that is the information that you are given from Fi, so get some good old swipes in and keep on doing that. Alright, fatal blow. And he will move out of the way on the first go around. Ouch. And when your sword gets stuck in the ground and you pull it out, he will use that as a chance to hit you. So go ahead and just give him a little bit of this. He will dodge a second time, so as persevered and always known, third time's a charm, as usual, if I'm not wrong. Alright. There we go. Slice him up. And our boy is toast.
Extraordinary. You stand as a paragon of your kind, human. You fight like no man or demon I have ever known, though this is not the end. My hate never perishes. It is born anew in a cycle with no end. I will rise again. Those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they are eternally bound to this curse. An incarnation of my hatred shall ever follow your kind, dooming them to wander a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time. I have confirmed the eradication of the Demon King. His residual consciousness has been absorbed into the Master Sword, and is now sealed away. You have done well, LSP. LSP, thank you. I think it's over. Finally, it's all over.
Nice going, you two. You guys were totally amazing in this little adventure I like to call The Legend of Groose. That's a little joke.
Joke or not, your contributions to our efforts were heroic. You have my thanks.
Oh, well, just glad I can make myself useful. I'm happy things turned out okay. Hey, so things look pretty sewn up here. What do you say, guys? Ready to head back to our own time? Granny was really worried about you two. We don't want to keep the old girl in suspense too long.
Hylia, Your Grace, or perhaps you prefer Zelda, it pleases me to know you are safe. Master, I must speak with you. Master LSP, you have successfully protected the goddess reborn and defeated Demise, fulfilling your role as the hero of a legend. My purpose here is complete. Therefore, I ask you to dissolve our arrangement as master and servant. Drive the sword into the pedestal before you, and I will return to the sword to enter a sleep without end. Master, you have achieved the purpose you were chosen to fulfill. Please, set the sword in the pedestal and bring the goddess's mission to an end. Now, Master, it is time to conclude our necessary companionship. LSP. LSP, hear me. My purpose was to obey the command of the goddess and lead you, the chosen hero of this land, on your quest. When I first awoke and began this task, I perceived it as merely serving my function as a servant to her grace. However, I have come to consider the information corresponding to our time together among the most precious data I have on record. I do not have the capability to fully understand the human spirit, LSP. But now, at the end of my journey with you, as I prepare to sleep within the Master Sword forever, I experience a feeling I am unable to identify. I lack sufficient data to be sure of my conclusion, but I believe this feeling correlates closest to what your people call happiness. Our partnership is at an end, and even as we speak, I feel my consciousness fading away. Before I enter the sleep that calls me to the sword, I wish to relate to you words that I recorded many times over the course of our journey. Many have said them to you thus far, but I now wish to say them for myself. Thank you, Master LSP. May we meet again in another life.
What? Impa, why? Come with us. Zelda, Your Grace, you possess the memories of the goddess. You must understand why that is not possible. I am a being of this age. My place is here. I know that, but you must return to your own time. I will take care of the gate once you have passed through. I can't do that. You and I have been through so much together. I don't want to leave you alone. Please, Impa, come back with us. Zelda, at the command of the goddess, I passed through the Gate of Time. I did so to protect you and aid the fight to prevent the world's destruction. The last remnants of Demise are decaying slowly within the sword. Someone must stay behind to watch over this blade. His spirit must not reawaken. He must never be allowed to threaten the world again. This is the nature of the task given to my tribe. As a member of the Sheikah, the goddess's chosen guardians, I gladly welcome this duty. Zelda, I shall watch over the Triforce. Its power is too great to leave in the grasp of man. Dependence on its might is an invitation to disaster. When it has served its purpose, it must be secreted away to lie dormant once again, the knowledge of its existence hidden from mortal history. These are the words the goddess spoke to me long ago. I remember them well, as do you, I'm sure. Do not despair, Zelda. You and I will surely meet again someday.
See? I told you we'd meet again. Impa, thank you. Thank you for everything.
Wow, The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD has been the most eventful LP I've ever done, in my opinion. And this ending really hits home for the interest of future titles in this wonderful franchise. The first thing I want to get out of the way is that, yeah, there were many bumps and forks in the road between episode 1 and this episode. To reiterate, I've been in the strenuous process of moving. I still am. And it's definitely one of those tolls that it just takes on a Let's Player. I needed that to sum up the main reason as to why there were many upload gaps between some episodes, let alone the fact that Skyward Sword is one of the more, I want to say lengthy and challenging Zelda games that came before Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Let me start by saying that I didn't get to play this game until Christmas of 2011, and the adventure really hit home considering that it took me way longer than usual to beat because it was a blind playthrough at the time. Let's also talk about the departure of Fi and Impa because, well, for one, Fi's character conclusion I feel is more on the logical side considering that she typically can't feel human compassion of a human spirit, I'll give it that, until she begins to suspend her physical being within the Master Sword, and after 13 years, that still pling-plongs at the heart to this day. Impa, on the other hand, has felt human spirit throughout the entire playthrough, but still chooses to hit Zelda with that, "I told you we'd meet again," you know? And she just disappears. Groos's expression after she goes away was kind of funny to me, but also wholesome because, well, his main mission was to, or purpose, through a majority and good chunk of the game, has been defending the sealed grounds and looking after the old one, who was Impa in the present age. Let's go back to Fi for a second. Now, I can understand briefly why Fi isn't the typically most liked or admired Zelda companion to be along for the ride, mainly because of her, I want to say, repetitive statistical analysis whenever you stumble upon a circumstance that needs looking into. That went double for the Wii version because of her dialogue as you progress, especially through Farron, is unskippable. However, in this version, it went much smoother and really chopped down on the introduction time in this game. In terms of Skyward Sword, though, I can understand why it might not be everyone's favorite Zelda game par for the course, considering how the controls on the Wii version were more on the awkward side. I'm not throwing shade at the Wii version. I still think it's amazing. And it's really just out there, you know? And I get it, I was there too. However, I persevered and still completed the game after a certain amount of time. The Wii version has its flaws, and I speak confidently about that part with the infamous soft lock cough cough in Laneru if you happen to complete that section first during the Song of the Hero quest, like I briefly talked about in this LP, which I'm glad it was removed and tweaked because it was about 90% of complaints earlier on. However, I absolutely love how it opens the player up to its wonderful character development, the intriguing story behind the Master Sword's formation. What I love most about Skyward Sword in general is the amount of character and pure personality they gave to Link and Zelda, and especially Groose too. On a much happier note, I want to say that I'll announce a couple things, actually. There is a bonus episode that I'll make that entails the Easter eggs / funny and informative aspects of Skyward Sword that I'll briefly cover, so stay tuned for that. Also, there is a hero mode version of this game, so if anyone wants me to do a playthrough of that, definitely let me know, because that will be one heck of an adventure for the collection. With that said and done, I want to bring up the history of the Master Sword, by the way. So, most wonder what exactly happens to it. Well, the blade rests in the sealed temple, and while it seals away the evil, which was Demise, that area slowly becomes the Temple of Time. However, after Skyward Sword in the timeline, the Minish Cap followed, then there was Four Swords, and then Ocarina. However, Ocarina of Time did an extraordinary job of splitting the sequence between child and adult and the fallen hero, demonstrating how when the Master Sword was next seen again, it was when Link obtained the 3 spiritual stones and went on to his adult stage. For the Minish Cap, though, the Master Sword was considered being added in, however, it was given a break, and instead Link uses the Kinstone shards to create the Four Sword, which made copies of himself to further determine his adventure and gain access to new areas. So that was awesome, and with Ocarina being a more definitive and rapid Zelda LP that I did, it was a lot shorter because it was a title that I was more familiar with, too. But Skyward Sword I literally have the most love for because it brilliantly shone on the characters it featured, and their good endings, bad endings. In conclusion, their plots and stories were very well concluded, and I think that says a lot about this franchise's introduction. So, with that, Skyward Sword will be nearest and dearest to me, even though it may not be everyone's fan favorite. It still shines as perfect as ever, in my honest opinion. So, as we enter our final cinematic here, look forward to the bonus episode that will come out later, and I'll see everyone in my next project, in whichever it happens to be. And I hope that you guys loved and enjoyed reliving the compelling Skyward Sword adventure as much as me.
Look around us. As a child, I always dreamed of a world below. I wanted to see the surface with my own eyes, and feel the land's warm breeze on my skin. I think I want to live here. I always want to feel solid ground beneath my feet, see the clouds above my head, and watch over the Triforce. What about you, LSP? What will you do now?